on my own. Hurrah! I have just dropped one of my teens off at church to be part of the media team, press buttons and record stuff and stuff. They haven't asked me to be part of the media team. I don't know why. And so I thought I'd grab a little hot chocolate from McDonald's because it's quite cold. You can only get hot chocolate. You're not allowed to get coffee from McDonald's if you live in Brighton. Just people are quite coffee. There's like coffee etiquette, which I don't fit in anyway because I like instant. But I think if I got coffee from McDonald's and then I just did this, I think I'd lose quite a few friends. So I got hot chocolate, so hopefully that's okay. And it is cold and we have been promised snow, but it's definitely not here, and that bit of sky is just getting clearer and clearer, so I just don't think snow will come. I am hopeful for snow because then we will be snowed in and we won't be able to go to school. Even though Zoom works perfectly well, I was told by a friend of mine, even during snow, but I'm just gonna ignore that completely. So I was thinking today, this week, there was a moment where I felt I was unravelling slightly. Shocker. It is homeschool week 422 this year. January was long, wasn't it? But now we're already into a second month. And I had a really clear picture in my head before I went to sleep of literally a needle going through a garment and hemming it. And I felt God's presence really just tell me, I won't let you unravel. I know where the stitches need to be. I know how to hem you in. And I fell asleep straight away. So I do think it was kind of a God moment. I'm surprised that he spoke to me in a sewing kind of way because that's not really my forte. I have sewn a couple of things. I mainly sew the dog's toys' ears back on, just for her to rip off again. But dog toys are expensive and then she just rips them, and so that's where my sewing skills have come into play. That and like school trousers. Everything else I just give to my mother-in-law really. But it was a really clear understanding of a hem being sewn and all the material gathering together, and it just felt really safe, and it just felt like I wasn't going to unravel. I might have a stitch or two out of place, but I can't unravel because the cord that is Jesus is just it's unbreakable, isn't it? And so I was just so encouraged and felt so peaceful just to kind of think of that hemming in, and I thought I would share it with you. And then I looked a bit more into kind of being hemmed in, and actually the verse in Psalm 139 that talks about us being hemmed in by God, before us and behind us, actually if you look into it, there's more of it about like army hemming in, or a military base being hemmed in with walls of protection and ready to fight. It's like you're besieged. It's like you're in the safe place in the middle of an army, and that just changed it. I guess changed the feeling of it. It felt kind of a scary safe, but I truly believe that if I'm hemmed in by God, the King of Kings, all-knowing, omnipresent, powerful, wonderful, then it's not going to be just a little thread, is it? It's going to be like an army. It's going to be like a fierce protection, like a jealous love, like a protection of you. And then I started looking into, I guess, the woman who had the bleeding issue, and she touched the hem of Jesus' garment, and I love everything about that story. She was classed as unclean because she was, because of her issue, which meant she wouldn't have been able to go into the temple and celebrate the festivals, and in that moment where all those people are bustling around her and which she shouldn't really have been there, because, they could have touched her and been unclean, or Jesus could have touched her and become unclean, and yet she was so desperate to reach out, and even just touching the hem, like the very last bit, or the tassel that's on Jesus's clothes, and that's enough to heal her. The very last bit has got the most amazing power to heal her. Like, she didn't need to call his name and come up to him and tell him what it was and ask him. Just reaching out to get the tiniest bit of Jesus's hem was enough for her to be healed straight away. And I just thought at that moment she just wanted to reach out to him, and I guess it was a bit of a provocation. Do you know what I mean? I feel like just one of the people bustling around Jesus, rather than the one that's reaching out desperately, going, I want that one. I'll have the tiniest bit. I know the tiniest bit will do me good. And so, yeah, that's all I was thinking about today, really. Just wanting to encourage other mums, but I know it's not just mums that watch this, but just that he won't let us unravel, and that he will hem us in, and that he is such a strong cord, is like the worst sentence ever to describe God, but it's just that kind of unbreakable. One toy my dog has got is a rope that's all twisted up together, and that's the one she can't break, and I guess that's the slight imagery that works. And just to encourage people, again, to just keep reaching out, even if it's the tiniest bit of God. Taste and see that I am good, he says. And tasting, that's just like a one in the mouth and what do I think? Is the McDonald's hot chocolate good enough? Of course it is. But it's just a taste. Even if we go for a taste of God, even if we go for a tiny bit of God, he is good, and he will rush to us, and he will strengthen us, and he will lock us in like we're under siege, and he will protect us fiercely with his love. And I just think, wow, that's just quite amazing, really. And the other thing with threads and all of that kind of talk, it's not my normal, like I said. I'm not sure what my normal one is. Like coffee, no. Baking, no. When I was in Rwanda with a friend of mine for a month, every verse about farming and seeds, God just spoke to me. So he just does try and speak to us where we're at. And there's songs that are about God being the calm in our chaos. That's how God speaks to me. Oh, he is indeed. But he's also quite, he is the chaos. He upsets things, doesn't he? He upsets the status quo. He causes things to tip on their head. And I love the chaoticness about him, but it's not chaos. This is so clear. In my head, it's really clear. A friend of mine reminded me that when I said to her, I just felt like I was unravelling, and then I felt like God hemmed me in, and quickly I just saw this, thread going through this garment and gathering it all together. And she reminded me about the tapestry of life, and I think it's Corrie ten Boom that made a point about commenting on one side of the tapestry as a beautiful picture, and it's just stunning and creative and artistic, and everything's in its right place. But on the other side of the tapestry are just all the knots and links and misthreads and loops of thread, and that's the bit that life is. And I read in Rachel Wilson's blog, I think last night or this morning, just about she started to see flowers started to spring up. There's little evidence around us that spring is kind of trying to come, and we're all hoping for a new fresh season. But the work that goes on under the soil before you see, of course, the shoot of something beautiful, it's all growing in the darkness, and the roots are getting strong, and there's so much that we don't see that's going on underneath. We look at the beautiful flower and we think, oh, spring is here, but there's been so much going on under the ground, causing that to happen. And I think, just another encouragement, always the same encouragement, just to keep trusting in God, that he does know what he's doing in the dark places, in the hidden soil places, in the chaotic bits, in the messy threaded bits. He does know, but he does also want to talk to you, and he often talks to us in a way that is relevant to us. So I'm sure he speaks to my husband through motorbikes and chicken. But yeah, I guess we do also have to keep our ear open to see what he might be saying. So yeah, that's my encouragement today. I'm going to drink my hot chocolate and not get home yet because church is at 10, and so might just stay here. Might go and get another hot chocolate. Shh. Anyway, bye. Love you. Mwah.